So now diving right in, I want to take you guys through the skills that you can currently level up in the game. In the game, we currently have fishing, we have cooking, we have gardening, we have mining, we have hunting, we have bug catching, we have foraging, and then last but not least, furniture making. By doing any of these avenues inside of the game, you will actively level up that specific skill. That's the only way to really level up that skill is by actually doing the physical act. When you're inside of the game, if you press C on the keyboard, that'll bring up your character screen here, and then you can see in the bottom left-hand side, they actually give us some really nifty information. You can see all of the different skills, so basically all 8 of the skills that you can level up. Once again, you only can level these up by actually physically doing those things inside of the game, but if you do come here to the screen and you actually hover over one of the skills, it will actually tell you the guild master for that skill. This is really handy because you need to visit that guild master from time to time. Don't worry about, remembering to do so. It'll actually send you a letter in your inbox here, right here, that you can obviously check at your home plot. But either way, you want to make sure that you are constantly revisiting these guild masters to just make sure that you are not missing out on some free recipes or unlocking, new advancements when it comes to your tools that you use for that specific skill. And because Palia is truly a community experience, it's really advised that you actually do a lot of these activities and skills with other players in the game, because simply sometimes it will actually net you bonus stuff. For instance, if you fish alongside another person, you will actually get a fisherman's buff that will then give you more experience gained while fishing with a friend. Additionally, here you can hunt pretty much everything in the game alongside another person, and as long as one of you guys just tag that individual animal, you don't have to kill it, but if you tag it, then you also can get the resources that are gained from it. Same thing goes with mining, foraging, you name it. Doing it with a friend absolutely has its benefits. Now, the next tip brings us back to your housing plot and specifically the shipping bin. When you first get your housing plot unlocked, you probably will just have this little makeshift tent and not necessarily this house, but either way, it doesn't matter. Your shipping bin will be here. In the left-hand side, or at least the left to your mailbox, right here is going to be a shipping bin. It's really important to note that this is going to be your primary source for generating gold in the game. You're going to collect a handful of different items throughout the world, and then you can actually sell those items. You can see if you hover over any item in your inventory, by the way, or in your stash, it will then show you the specific value of that item that you can sell it for. So for instance, I have this pearl here. I can go ahead and right click it and put it inside of my shipping bin. You can see the total amount of gold that you have accumulated once your shipping bin does officially ship out and sell. That will be the total amount of gold that you get. So for instance, I've got these antlers here as well. If I put those in there, you can see the gold went up from 70 now to 113. Now, keep in mind, the shipping bin will actually ship out or, give you your gold for the items that you place in it 2 times every in-game day. That does approximately work out to about every 30 minutes real life time. You can see that's indicated here. As you can see, it says place goods in the shipping bin. They will be collected and automatically sold twice per game day. And for those specific times, that'll be in-game time at 6 a.m. and then in-game time at 6 p.m. So it's currently 7 p.m. right now. We would have to wait until 6 a.m. in the actual game, not real life, in order for those 2 items I have in the shipping box to actually sell. But either way, it's going to be very important. As I mentioned, this is the primary source to generate gold in the game. Now, additionally, it's worth mentioning that inside of the town, there is a general shop. You'll meet an NPC and unlock that shop where you can then specifically buy items. You can actually use the sell tab there in the shop to sell the items directly for gold instantly instead of waiting for your shipping bin. This can come in handy, especially if you're looking for a little bit of gold to either do that upgrade or to buy that next specific item that you need for a quest. And now, speaking on gold in Palia, the best way to get your hands on gold and fast is actually hunting in the game. Keep in mind, this does require you to go through some of the quest lines for hunting because it will unlock the standard version of the bow or the standard version of the arrowheads, and then using some of these will actually allow you to one-shot all of the individual animals. Again, if you were looking for a full-on guide on making gold inside of Palia, I did drop a video on this as well, and I highly advise you guys to check it out. You can do so by clicking the link at the top of the screen. Now, diving into the next tip, and that brings us to the tool system in the game. When you first start off in Palia here, you're going to actually have what they call makeshift tools. You can see I currently have a makeshift hoe here in my inventory, and I still have a makeshift watering can. These items or this makeshift tier will not have a durability, and you can actually utilize these items forever, for eternity. They will never break and go away. Obviously, you got to refill your water can. You can see that indicated here by the little blue line on the outside of the circle. But Either way, the makeshift tier will never have any durability. However, once you officially do complete some quest lines, level up in the different professions and skills, here you will actually unlock the standard tool set. Now, this is going to be probably the majority of players are going to get this after their first couple of days of playthrough. But once you've officially unlocked the standard quality version of the tools or the tier, then you will see every one of these circles have a green outer circle or stroke around them, and that indicates the tool's durability. You can see here that I've used the bow a little bit more than I have used like the pickaxe, or compared to something like the fishing pole. Either way, the more that you use this item, this durability bar, this green outside stroke, will slowly deplenish. And that brings us into the next tip, which is talking about repairing. Inside of the town here, you can see where I'm currently located. If you run over here to the forge area, right here, you will see an anvil in the center. If you run up to the anvil, you have the ability to press F, which will then repair all of your tools. Again, this is going to be costing a certain amount of gold, or you can eventually unlock repair kits that you can then also use to do that instead of having it consume your gold. Either way, the repair kit is going to cost you some sort of resources in order for you to craft those. You can craft those at any standard workbench, or you can actually buy them from the shop. But either way, you can go ahead and spend the gold in order to repair your specific items. Once again, it does not have any effect on the makeshift gear. The makeshift gear will never have a durability bar. So example, if my standard axe would break, it would then convert back to the makeshift axe, which obviously is not as good of a quality of an axe, so it'll take me longer to do things like foraging, for instance. And additionally, in order for me to get a standard axe back, you actually have to go back to a workbench and then full on craft that standard axe. And the material cost for crafting that standard axe or that standard tier of gear is a lot higher than the just standard cost of gold for repair, so it's absolutely worth repairing your tools. Now, the next important thing brings us to the focus bar. You can see in the top left-hand side of your game screen, right below your name, you have a pink bar indicated with a little circle and an eyeball on it, and then you can see here that I currently have a gap where that purple bar does not fill all the way up. This is considered your focus bar. If you hit C on the keyboard, it will actually show you a little bit more in-depth version of the focus bar. You can see I'm currently level 23 inside of Palia. You can see that my focus bar is here, and I currently only have 180 out of 300. And now the reason why focus is so important is because by having your focus bar constantly maxed out, you are getting bonus experience from doing all of the skills and activities in the game. If your focus bar happens to deplete all the way down, all you have to do is eat some food in order for you to increase your focus or get that focus back. And speaking of focus, additionally, you want to visit specific shrines inside of the game periodically from time to time when you have accumulated a certain amount of renown. If you click C on your keyboard, you can see how much renown you currently have at any given moment. It's in between your gold and your Palia coins. But you want to make sure you are consuming this renown at shrines. This one, for instance, is the Dragon Shrine. And when you head over here, you can actually consume 100 of it, and you can see it will directly increase the maximum amount of focus that you can have on your character at a given moment. I highly recommend that you guys check out my focus guide that I posted on my YouTube channel. It's a short 7-minute video that just covers everything you need to know about the focus mechanic, as the focus mechanic is an integral part of Palia. And then now diving into the next thing, and that is talking to NPCs whenever you see them. You can see I've currently have one right here. You go ahead and press F on them, and then you can have a little chat with the NPC. The reason why this is very important is because this will not only help build your relationship and friendship level with that NPC, but sometimes just simply talking to them and having discussions will unlock additional quest lines that you otherwise would not have until you did officially talk to them. So anytime you happen to see them inside of the game, definitely make sure that you talk to them. As you can see here, it's got the current status of happy to welcome you into the village, but not happy enough to force the issue with Eshi. And that's also going to be a continuing dialogue or storyline that I have with the specific NPC. Additionally, here, this does actually allow you to learn what each NPC does want or require for specific gifts. And by giving gifts to those individual NPCs will also further increase your friendship with them. And yes, if you are curious, NPC romance is an actual thing. However, though, keep in mind that not every NPC currently in the game is romanceable. So you just got to make sure you find which ones are and then pick and choose if that is something that you're into. However, though, the developers have mentioned this is not a requirement. So if that is not something that you like to do, you never have to partake in the romance option. And now diving into a couple of those extra one-off tips that I wish I knew when diving into the game. Now, the next tip brings us into your individual map and understanding that you not always have to run back to your home. No matter where you are on the current map here, if you pull it up by hitting M on your keyboard, you will see a button at the very top that says return home. You can utilize this button literally every single 30 minutes, like real life 30 minutes, and then this will just bring you from wherever you are directly back to your housing plot. Again, it is very, very useful, and you should absolutely check periodically to see if you can use this instead of full on running back to your home, especially if you're trying to get back there faster to like sell specific items before the shipping bin does officially take off. And now the next tip leads us back into town. If we head into town and we actually go to Zeki's general store, you can see it's over here on the right hand side, I believe the third building down. Once you run in here on the left hand side, you actually have the ability to upgrade your backpack. The very first upgrade is going to be costing 500 gold, and this is actually really important. When you currently start off in the game, you will only have access to these first 2 rows for your inventory. This is your inventory space, and once this gets filled up, you will no longer be able to hold any items, and you have to either sell them or consume them or, go drop them back off at your plot. Well, for that 500 gold, you actually unlock the next row for a grand total of 3 individual rows. I highly recommend that every new player does spend their first 500 gold in the game that you get and upgrade this bag, because it makes a massive difference. You can obviously see here that the cost does go up though significantly after you do spend the first one for 500 gold. The next tier for the large backpack will actually be 5,000 gold. So that one you can actually wait a little bit for to get, because this third row will make a massive difference on the amount of items you can carry. And speaking on things that you guys should focus on getting first, and that is the glider inside of the game. The glider will save you tons and tons of travel time, and it will even allow you to access areas that you otherwise would not or could not just on foot. Now, in order for you to unlock the glider, it's via a quest line, and it's actually early on. You need to complete as many quests as you can with Gina at the very start of the game, and then you'll eventually unlock a quest that will bring you to Bahari Bay. I highly recommend that you buckle down, focus on those quests via Gina to get the glider right away, because it makes a massive difference in your progression. And speaking of traveling tips, that brings us into the next one, and that is talking about fast travel in the game. You can see any of these boards that you walk up to. If you click on the M on your keyboard, they are indicated with this little horseshoe icon. Well, if you walk up against these signs, you will see you can press F. If you press F, it'll actually give you all the destinations that you can then fast travel from that specific sign. I don't highly recommend that you blow all of your gold by just using the fast travel system, but absolutely keep it in mind when it comes to traveling, especially long distances. And that, my friends, is officially wrapping up our beginner's guide here for everything you need to know when diving into the world of Palia for the first time. If you guys have any additional questions, drop them down below in the comment section, or I actually invite you guys to join my Discord. You can find that link down below as well in the description. We would love to have you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Palia related. And with that being said, as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.